I was in the car with some friends and she like mentioned something and I go, wait, you shave? And she's like, you don't? And like looked at me like I was a monster. And I was like, I can't let anybody near my pussy until I figure out what's going on here.
Hello and welcome to the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. I am your host, your roast-coming queen, a girl who once cried while reading a fan fiction about Green Day, Alise Morales. And with us today, we have the Beauty Talk Shock Jock, the Queen of Creams, the host with the most serums, the freshest fringe on the West Coast, the pop punk princess, your kooky Southern Jewish aunt, and the host of the Natch Beaut Podcast. But before all of that, she was a graduate of South Garland High School. It's Jackie Johnson.
That was the best intro. Thank you so much for having me, Alise.
I really wanted to make sure I know that there was a low-rise jeans. There's a
low-rise jeans queen. That was in there at one point.
At one point, and I couldn't remember if there was a date attached to it. So
maybe of the mid-2000s. That might have been it. The low-rise jean queen of the mid-2000s. That might have been it.
Which is honestly a really important thing for us to address on this podcast. It is,
and honestly, I want that on my tombstone. With like some filigree around it. You know, it'll look really lovely.
Our producer and I were just talking about, I feel like there's always, every like couple of months, I'll see something that's like, low-rise jeans are back. And it's like meant to scare us all.
Yeah, I mean, you would probably know better than me being a younger person, but remember the whole TikTok, you can't wear skinny jeans thing? That triggered stress in my body. I was like, I can't deal with this right now. What are we supposed to be wearing? I'm not going back to the Jinko look. That did not serve my body type.
But here's how I've like contextualized this with the teens on TikTok is that like I'm 30. If a teen,
you look so young. I thought you were like going to be like I'm 22 and a half.
Thank you so much. It's the Zoom filter.
Skincare, honey.
Well, I listen to Natch Beaut.
Oh yes, we love.
So the thing that helped me to get over what the Gen Zers were saying about the millennials is basically being like, okay, if a 30-year-old in 2005 had worn the same clothes that I was wearing, they would have looked clinically insane. So like we don't need to be wearing. We don't need to be wearing the same. Like a 30-year-old in 2005 dressed in like Hot Topic pants and like like manic panic hair.
Plaid. Just a lot of bad plaid.
Yeah, chain, like a really big pocket with chains on it. Yep. Like that's not.
Gotta chain the wallet. You never know.
That's not what an adult woman needs to be wearing.
That's
so
true.
That's how I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to be wearing the same thing as them.
Yeah, that's actually a really beautiful, empowering point, and I will take that today because I was stressed about this. I mean, look at my side part, you know, I can't keep up with the kids, and that's something that you just have to kind of realize. And as you come into your 30s, you sort of realize, oh, wait, it's okay that I don't keep up with the kids.
Yeah.
I don't have to. That's a beauty of getting older.
Exactly. I don't need to be at the cutting edge.
Yes, I don't need to always know what's going on. I don't need to know who Lil Yachty is. You know, these are things I can just release.
Absolutely. You can release Lil Yachty at any time. I can
release Lil Yachty and move on and feel empowered about that choice.
So let's go back in time. Let's go back to a time when you were at the cutting edge.
Please, let's go there.
Let's zoom. It is now the mid-2000s.
Oh, yeah. Here we are.
So let's talk about a question I like to ask at the beginning is, so South Garland High School, what flavor of high school are we talking
I can present
here?
this, yes.
Scene.
Okay, so this is a very large Texas high school. It is the largest, like there's groupings of size. This is a 5A, meaning the largest high school, public high school. There were like over 2,000 kids there.
Oh, shit.
My graduating class had like 750 students in it. Breakdown according to race, this high school was about 33 Latinx, black and white. Mm-hmm. So it was a diverse school. And I had been going to public school my entire life, and I pretty much knew all the kids in my grade. I had gone to elementary, middle, and high school with all of them. And it was a beautiful time to be alive. There was a big football school, Friday Night Lights. It was very, very that mood. Yeah.
Like, how does it stack up to Friday Night Lights energy?
Very similar. Very similar. Football games on the weekends. Everybody in the town went to them. Mm-hmm. If you had a football player in your house, you had a billboard in your yard with their face on it. Literally. It said home of so-and-so number whatever. If you were a cheerleader, if you were a drill team member, you had a huge sign in your yard that said a Southern Belle lives here. Yes, that was the name of our drill team.
The Southern Bells?
The Southern Bells. Well, so we were South Garland High. There's a North Garland High. There's a regular Garland High. So we had this whole South motif, which is actually problematic. And they have since changed our mascot and our theme song.
This is not the first time this has happened on the pod. This is happening all over the country.
Yeah.
In fact,
that actually makes me feel better because there is unfortunately like a shame to that. The Confederate flag was used at my high school, not when I was there, but previously in the past of the school. I mean, it's really gross and not okay. And they've since gotten rid of everything. I honestly don't even know what their mascot is now. This just happened recently.
That's also interesting. So the last person to talk about this on the podcast was Akilah Hughes, and she's from Kentucky, and her school, they were the Rebels. And
same. So we were the Colonels. Very similar.
Okay, so they just, she said that there was a man named Mr. Rebel who was their mascot, and they just got rid of him, stopped talking about him. Nobody says anything about Mr. Rebel anymore.
Mr. Rebel, we don't know him anymore. He can't come to the phone.
Who? We were talking about that she would open a drawer and actually all the shirts he had faded off of them.
Oh yeah, he just
it was just a memory.
Yes, he just faded away like the leftovers. Just sort of
Exactly.
R.I.P. Just you can't. I don't know where you went, but you can't stay here, buddy.
Bye-bye, Mr. Rebel.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so where did you fit into the social world of South Garland? How do you make a splash in a class of 700 kids?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I thrived in high school. You could argue I peaked in high school. I had an amazing high school experience. I was class president. I was student body vice president. I was voted class favorite every year. I won the spring equivalent of homecoming queen. The Colonel's Lady is what we called it.
No.
Yes. I won
you were
wittiest
the Colonel's
senior.
Lady?
Yes, honey. You are speaking to a former Colonel's Lady right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was vice president of the school. I was editor-in-chief of the yearbook. I was in one-act play. I was a singer. I mean, I honestly killed it.
Wow.
And because of that confidence, I think when I moved to LA, I was like, I got this. You know what I mean? If I took over South Garland High, I can take over LA. I can take over Hollywood.
Yeah.
I had a lovely high school experience. I was a social butterfly. I was accepted in all the groups. I had no ego. I just really played it well. And it was genuine. It was genuine. But I just really thrived in that environment of being amongst my peers. And I think my authenticity as a person really favored me.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like high school is a place where, if you are a gregarious and friendly person, you can, become the Colonel's Lady.
That's true. I mean, I also feel I was a little twat. I really was. But I think amongst all the other people, I still was less of one than everyone else. Because I look back and I cringe sometimes. I'm like, oh, I feel like I was mean to that kid. Or, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Or I was still coming into my own. And I was a victim of the 2000s, programming in many ways.
Oh, yes. And this is something, obviously, we've all been thinking about so much lately. But, I mean, even with a lot of the free Britney stuff.
Right.
I was also a pop punk princess back in the day, and I was very emo kid, alt scene kid, all of that stuff. So I really ate up a lot of that programming of Britney is actually skanky and all of the that kind of stuff, and girls who are like that, they suck. They're not like me. I have a skateboard.
I'm so great and above everybody else, and
exactly. And it's ugh, I just want to take that girl and be like, sluts aren't real.
I know. I was
no
just
such
having
thing.
I was just having this discussion on another podcast about how virginity is a social construct.
Yes.
And I just wish that all wasn't in my brain. I just was so like ashamed of sexuality, and like I just wish I would have gotten to suck more dicks in high school. Honestly, I just wish I was freer to experiment more. I was so like worried about what people would think, and like just was too scared.
See, I was just like, I did, I sucked a dick or two, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. I'm jealous.
But I was like, I was really, I had a lot of negative thoughts around sex. And like, I definitely was really concerned about like other girls and sex and what they were doing. And like, definitely thought that like slutty girls were like a thing that I needed to be worried about in my life, which is like something that I just got from like TV, I think.
Oh yeah,
and
that's all it was. We were programmed to like hate other women, judge other women, compare ourselves. It was just, and I hope that's not as bad today. I feel like the teens are so much more empowered now. I really hope that's the case.
I believe like all good things about them. Like anytime I'm like, well, but now high school is an oasis of progressive thought.
Acceptance. And
it's amazing.
It's like the end of Mean Girls.
Let's break down all of these activities that you were said that you did. So let's start first because we are ultimately a theater kid podcast.
Yes.
What plays were you doing?
Okay.
What roles did Jackie tend to get in the plays?
Right. Well, I'll be honest. I did not get my day. That's the one place where I feel it didn't really serve me. I was always the funny side character. I never got to be the lead. Like my senior year, we did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which I don't know if you're aware, does not have many female roles.
No, that's always a very strange choice for like a high school to do, because I feel like high schools are always teaming with girls to be in the musical, and there's always like 4 boys. Right,
and also, honestly, I talked about this on my Instagram a couple years ago, and a bunch of people DM me, people younger than me, and they were like, oh no, we had women playing the brothers, we had women play, and I was like, my high school was too square for that. This was Texas Bible Belt in the 2000s. Like, they would have never, because I would have loved to play like Benjamin's Calypso. I would have loved to play one of the brothers. I would have been great. But that would have
been great.
That wasn't an option, The only female roles are notoriously the narrator, which I'll be honest, I'm an alto, too high for me. And Potiphar's wife, who has one line. And that went to like the theater girl. That went to like our ingenue. And so, because she also couldn't sing, by the way. So I was in the chorus. Honey, I was in the chorus. I busted my ass for an entire semester to be in the chorus, honey. And there's no shame in being in the chorus. But like, I was so sad my senior year. I was like robbed of a leading role or any kind of memorable role.
Senior year in the chorus is really painful.
Deep pain. Deep insecurity.
My sophomore year, I was in the chorus for Little Shop. I got a part in the chorus for Little Shop, and I said, no. I don't have the time to be in the chorus. Unless you're giving me...
Bump me up or I'm walking.
Yeah, excuse me. I believe there are 3 doo-wop girls, and one of them should be me.
You would have slayed that.
Yeah, well,
you would have slayed that.
They had the opportunity in 2006 to make something happen for themselves, and they didn't. So.
The joke's on them. And I'm gonna write a letter because
everyone,
I'm
please write.
Yeah. I would love for y'all to do the same for South Garland. Be like, excuse me, in 2003, y'all did Joseph Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Jackie Johnson should have been one of. I mean, I could have. What if they lowered the narrator for me? I mean, is that crazy?
The thing is, every high school play, they should bend over backwards to have as many students be able to participate and like do fun things in the play as
they
possible.
Should have had me be a brother. I would have been perfectly fine with that. It didn't happen. So I will always go to bed at night and close my eyes with the regret that I didn't get a star in my senior year. Yeah. I mean, my rival high school did Into the Woods. I almost transferred. I was like, I got to get out of here because my dream role is Baker's wife.
Jackie, can I tell you something? We did Into the Woods my senior year, and my big sadness that I've talked about on this podcast is that I flubbed my Baker's Wife audition.
Shut your mouth.
And I ended up as one of Cinderella's stepsisters, and
that's a
my
fun
deep
role,
pain.
though. But that's a fun role.
But it's not.
I get it.
You
It's
don't
not
get
Baker's
to.
Wife.
You don't
I
bang the
understand.
prince and then sing
I
the
understand.
sexy song.
I hear you, and I feel you in that. I feel you in that. I mean, honestly, I would like to do any role in Into the Woods. It's my absolute favorite musical of all time. I would love to play the witch. I would love to do a take on Little Red. I think that might be an interesting choice for me.
I think you could be a great Little Red.
I mean, I would be a tall Red.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love that
That's
play.
fun. That's fun.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it might happen for me someday. I don't know.
You know what? You can get cast in Into the Woods at any time. They're always putting that show up.
They might put it up on Clubhouse.
It's so interesting how deep those, like I remember every role that I felt like I should have gotten in high school. And every single time I felt like slighted, and it was such a deep, drama for me.
Same. However, it really set me up for the rejection I would inevitably, experience in LA every day for 15 years, which is where we are now. So if anything, really, it did me a favor.
I know. Now it's like, oh my God, I got a role in the chorus.
Yeah.
Thank fucking
God. Oh my God, I got an
chorus.
under 5 on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I booked the chorus.
Thank God.
I booked it. It does. You do learn to appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I'll take the chorus any day if I get my SAG insurance back. Yeah, right.
So what made you pursue student government?
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like I was very well liked and wanted to sort of use that platform to connect the school.
Interesting.
Like the decisions were being made. And honestly, the student body president and vice president did the announcements every day. And I was like, I need to do this.
Okay, so we're adding you to the list of people who have done the announcements.
I wanted to be the representative of the school.
And
I was.
So in addition to the announcements, what other, were you planning dances?
Yes.
All of that stuff?
We planned the dances, and it was a lot of work. But it was fun to come up with the themes, which, most of them were appropriation. I remember we did Arabian Nights. It's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Why would we do that? I don't even, Under the Sea. Oh, Homecoming 2004, Under the Sea. If I could do them now, oh my God, they would be so fun.
Yeah, I really feel like we need a whole new list of themes for dances. All of the themes are played out.
All the themes
They're
are played
done.
out.
Our theme for prom was just Forever Young.
Yeah, I think ours was Eternal Friendship or something. It was so random. I think it was a gold backdrop. I mean, it was nothing.
Yeah, we're just getting into concepts now. We need to go back
what
to
if we
themes.
did a Bridgerton theme?
See, that Regency.
I would want to get my pussy ate on the stairwell.
I mean,
I would make that happen.
I honestly actually can't imagine what I would have felt if I had watched Bridgerton as a teen.
Right.
Because
it would be
I know how the OC made me feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't even as hardcore as.
But what about the OC? Imagine all the beachy looks. That I could fuck with an OC themed prom right now. I could fuck with that.
That would you just have a little jean skirt,
and
a
low rise jean skirt, some Hollister flip flops,
a cami top.
Oh yeah, just one little cami. Beautiful highlights, bronzer, and a French tip nail, and
you're good.
And that tiny Louis Vuitton, the one that you could only hold a pen in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. So what TV, etc. were you into in your teen years? Who were your celeb crushes?
Yeah. Okay. So Dawson's Creek really did it for me. Pacey specifically.
Yes.
That was kind of my jam. That was big. The OC hit in 2003, and that was everything. But I was in college, so we watched that all in the dorm. So in high school, I'm trying to remember all those 2000s movies, Legally Blonde, She's All That, Bring It On. I mean, I have them memorized to this day. every line,
Yes.
because they're so deeply embedded into my psyche from watching them so many times.
I feel the same way, and it's like, I wonder if that's also the like Blockbuster and sleepover culture a little bit, where it was like you rent it, like that was part of the activity, and like you would just rent the same. I would rent Legally Blonde all the time.
Yeah.
I remember when I was really little, my friend Elizabeth had Clueless on VHS, so we watched it every sleepover, and now it's like you start a sentence from that movie and I can just
I can like
it.
see the opening credits in my head rolling, like
Exactly.
Oh, but my number one boo was Ashton Kutcher, which cracks me up because I don't find him attractive in the slightest now. But I just had a thing for, and I guess it's some weird dad thing, you know, really.
Yeah.
Like 6'3", blue-eyed, brown-haired white dudes.
But that's also
like my
his
thing.
Von Dutch hat.
Oh yeah.
Phase
oh yeah, that
too.
70s show. And people said I reminded them of Donna because I had red hair and a deep voice. And so I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm like a 70s girl and me and Ashton are going to get married. I had Mrs. Kutcher underwear. It said Mrs. Kutcher across the ass. I got it like Wet Seal.
God.
I'm telling you.
Of course Wet Seal would have Mrs. Kutcher underwear.
And honestly, I
sale.
kept them for years. I think I only got rid of them like a couple years ago. I should have kept them because I could like give them to my kids someday. And they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Frame them and be like, this is history.
Yes. Or if I meet him, I can have him sign them or something.
Yeah.
Because he's around.
He was so big at that time. And like just the idea of like giant, handsome white guys messing around.
Oh, yeah.
Was like huge.
Yeah. The lead singer of All American Rejects, I remember I was like, I love how funny he is, you know? Like, he's just like a white guy fucking around. That's like the energy. Oh,
I
don't
feel
get
like
me started.
Blink-182 started like
as
soon as they released a funny music video.
I was enthralled by their every waking move. Those are my boys for life. I mean, I just got married 3 weeks ago, and in my wedding vows, my husband said, you know, I never thought I would fall for a Southern belle who puts the Beatles next to Blink-182. And it's true. Those are my two favorite bands.
I vibe with that so hard. To this day, one of the most transformative experiences I have ever had with music was listening to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket on a Walkman as my parents drove to the Jersey Shore. And I just felt
you were immersed in that experience.
Every emotion that existed.
That's my favorite Blink CD. Like,
it's incredible.
It is by far my favorite. And the fact that you're a little bit younger, it's perfect because that was most people would argue that they had peaked at that point, you know, like Enema of the State was kind of like their bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I think Takeoff is my favorite. It is the pinnacle. It is the album. What's your favorite track?
It's really hard. I feel like I need to like
revisit
to all of it again.
Yes, and make a decision, yeah.
Yeah, but when I think about Takeoff, the first song is called The Anthem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anthem Part 2. Anthem Part 2.
Okay, when I think about it, I know it's like that is the first song, but I imagine like the Jersey Shore like washing, like going by my car
past, as
I'm pressing play on it for like the third time because it takes like 5 hours to get to the Jersey Shore from DC, so I just listened to it 4 or 5 hours over and over and over again, and so I like
a time to be alive. What a time to be alive and thriving and youthful in America, truly. I mean,
truly. And then I got to the Jersey Shore and me and my friend Megan just like tried to kiss other like alt-looking boys on the tilt-a-whirl, and it was the most glorious, beautiful.
God, that brings a tear to my eye, honestly. That sounds so lovely.
It was so beautiful.
That's your version of Bridgerton, you know?
It really was.
Yeah.
We had a whole thing where we would look for punk boys. We would watch them come out of the one punk store that was on the boardwalk, and then we would follow them. There had to be 2. And then we would ask them, do you want to come on the tilt-a-whirl with us? It's better with more people.
Oh, that's quite the line.
Yeah. I honestly, to this day, the slickest I've ever been.
I was about to say, the game is strong.
I'm game impressed. Was so strong.
Yeah.
It's because of Blink, man.
Did it work? Did y'all get like hot emo dudes to go with y'all?
Absolutely. It worked every time.
Yeah.
Megan would flash her braces, and we would just be like, come with us to the tilt-a-whirl.
I appreciate that. See, that's the kind of shit I would not do. You know what I mean?
So
I would do it now.
What was Teen Jackie's romantic life like?
I was prude, and I was ashamed. I didn't even touch anybody till I was in college. I was very like goody.
So did you have boyfriends at all? Just like chastely, or were you just like?
I think senior year I started, because here's the thing, like looking back, I was cute.
Oh yeah, you know? Let's pull up your first photo. Let's see how cute you were.
So
an absolute cutie pie.
So you'll appreciate this. My t-shirt says OP. You remember Ocean Pacific?
Yes.
So this was like kind of a skater girl look. This is sort of an Avril-esque moment.
Yes.
So I was still a little goofy here. I think this was freshman year. I got into my, I remember looking in the mirror and being like, wait, I'm not a monster, am I? Like, I think I'm cute. Like, but we're just conditioned to hate ourselves.
Yes.
And conditioned to not appreciate anything. And I think that's when it took a turn. Like, guys started noticing me senior year, but it took forever. And I was an extremely late bloomer. I didn't start my period till I was 16.
Because I lived with this constant feeling that the fact that I did not have enormous boobs was going to, like, something that everyone was thinking about, talking about, was going to follow me for my every room that I walked in. People were like, that girl doesn't have enormous boobs.
Yes, I felt like everyone. I remember I think it was 8th grade, a guy, and I'd still know his name because this was traumatizing, was going around snapping all the bras on the backs of all the girls, and he got to me and I didn't have one, and he's like, Jackie Johnson's flat as a board, and like everyone's, and I remember I was like, I'm humiliated that I don't have breasts. I'm humiliated that I don't have breasts, you know? And in reality, like, it's great to have little titties. It's great to have whatever you have, you know? But at the time, we always wanted whatever we didn't have.
Yeah.
I wanted titties. I wanted booty. I wanted curly hair. I wanted everything I didn't have. I wanted blue eyes. Like, everything I didn't have, I wanted.
Exactly. I wanted boobs, and I wanted pin straight Avril hair. Yeah. So bad.
I was also really tall. I was 5'10" when I entered high school, and I just wanted to shrink. I was just like, I want to be petite. I want to be small. I want to be, a feminine. I for some reason I didn't equate it with femininity, and I just wish I loved my body more and appreciated it.
Yeah, but when we think about, like, first of all, women have never been taught to love their bodies ever, but as we're looking back on, like, the 90s and 2000s, it feels like a particularly vicious and difficult time. And I'm only really now realizing how much of that, like, was put in my head.
Right.
And stuff. Like, I looked through old yearbooks once, and I was like, oh, this is so funny. And then I got to a place where I had written fat on a picture. And I was like, oh my God, that makes me... First of all, mortified. Second of all, like, so ashamed. And third of all, it makes me sad for my old self that I was so concerned with my body that I'm also so concerned with other people's bodies I'm going to write that down. Like,
I'm telling you, it was
deep.
It really was a dark time in terms of, like, uplifting others and yourself. There's so many phrases that were never said and never taught to me, and just concepts that I had to really reprogram and focus on as an adult, and really kind of reprogram my whole brain.
Yeah, and if you think about, like, representation on TV and stuff, I'm trying to think of representations of, like, women who were friends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about a man that they were dating.
Right.
Or, like, like... That's why, like, Broad City was such a revolution when it came out and stuff, because it's like, oh, these two women are just friends with each other, and the show's about their friendship. I'm telling you,
that show is the voice of the generation. It's just so impressive in so many ways, and that's good. I actually never thought about the impact it would have on the youth at the time. That's really powerful. I'm happy that they had something like that.
Yeah, to just be like, oh, this is a show about two cool girls who like each other and are friends.
They never talk shit about their bodies. They're very empowered sexually. I mean, they cut the ground, man.
Right? And, like,
They broke that ground.
You watch back shows that we were watching as kids, and it's like Jennifer
Trash.
Aniston being like, I'm on a diet.
Yeah,
and it's
trash.
like, oh my, like she's
Trash.
like, oh my God. And
but also at home too, like, I don't want to get into, I mean, my mom was always like, I'm only eating raisins today. Like, just like all kinds of crazy shit.
South Beach diet.
Reading in magazines, like crazy, weird. Read those. I have them right here. I collect like vintage magazines. And by vintage, I mean like 2000s magazines.
That's
and they're
such a
horrific.
good collection.
They're horrific. And I'm like, this is what was guiding me through everything.
I would pull out like the workout routines that were in those. And it's like, why is there a workout routine in Teen Beat for 12-year-olds?
Well, it also says, like, look good in your bikini for the boys. Like, it's so heteronormative and, like, gross. And I hate it. I just hate it. All the body types in this magazine are, like, what you would imagine they are. It's it's all we had, though. We didn't have TikTok and YouTube, and we didn't have Trisha Paytas, and we didn't have all these, like, people explaining shit to us.
No, not at all. Speaking of people explaining shit, we were talking about, you said you were not you weren't dating because you were feeling nervous, etc. What was the sex ed like at your school?
Oh, zero. So in the Bible Belt, which is crazy to think about, if you went to school in DC, I don't know where you went, but my husband went to
Virginia, yeah.
Okay, yeah, my boyfriend went to this like hippie school where they called the teachers by their first names. It was like a completely different experience for me. No sex ed, zero. If you ask a question, they'll say, wait till marriage. Mm-hmm. So they teach you abstinence only. That's it. So nothing. I knew nothing. Isn't that
And did your
terrifying?
parents give you anything, or was it just like book on the counter?
Well, I had a friend in high school get pregnant, and that's when my dad, because I lived with just my dad. Mm-hmm. At one point I moved out. My parents got divorced, all this shit. Mm-hmm. And he was like, okay. This is what happens. This is how you can get pregnant. If you're going to have sex, you need to be on birth control. If you need me to help you, I'll get you on birth control, but you need to be on birth control. I mean, that was pretty much what he told me. He was just like, he was like, listen, you're probably going to have sex at some point. Get on birth control. I'll help you if you need me to. And that's all we're going to say.
Just like the end of a pharmaceutical commercial where they list all the
yes.
information. He's like, if you need birth control, you can get in touch with me, but also please don't do it.
That was it. I learned everything in college. Thank God. I went to a liberal college. I got there and they were passing condoms out in the quad, And I went to the health center and the woman explained everything to me. I didn't know anything.
That's wild. And were you did you feel like a lot of other people were in that situation? Where did you go to college?
I went to University of Texas in Austin.
Oh, okay. So do you feel like there were other people who were also similarly being like, whoa?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my sophomore year in college, I lived in my sorority house and my roommate was a virgin. And she was waiting till marriage. Mm-hmm. And then she decided to have sex with her boyfriend. And guess what? They're married. And so she's only had sex with him. And good for her, Mm-hmm. But this is the kind of shit we were all dealing with. This is the environment it was. And I remember everybody around me started having sex. And I remember just being like, oh my God, now I'm a weirdo. I have to have sex now. Everyone's doing it. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Do I need to shave my pussy hair off? What's happening? It was so stressful.
Yeah, I'm getting some people on TV are making it seem like I have to shave my pussy hair off.
I'm telling you, I was in the car with some friends and she mentioned something and I go, wait, you shave? And she's like, you don't? And looked at me like I was a monster. And I was like, I can't let anybody near my pussy until I figure out what's going on here. I don't know what to do. I mean, at this point I was rocking a full situation and that in 2003, that was not the style.
Oh no. Which is also crazy that I knew that because I was 13 in 2003, but I was aware that it's not in vogue to have hair on your vagina.
I'm trying to think. I think 2002 was the first time a Playmate had no pussy hair, a cover and I remember it was the thing, and then all of a sudden it was all gone, and now it's whatever goes, long, short, none, styles, everything, body hair in general, whatever you want. But it was really, I was like, if anybody sees because I remember I heard guys talking. There was a bunch of guys hanging out and they were like, oh, so-and-so's pussy had long hair on it. And I remember shaming this girl in my grade. And I was like, I can't let anybody see my pussy until I figure out what's going on here.
That is terrifying to overhear guys talking like that.
Terrifying. But that's what they did back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure they still do. Yeah. But it was, you know,
I don't think
hate
that's
it.
going away anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Middle
You
school
know, it's a
boys are middle
mess.
school boys, but
Right. I mean, I would have loved to have a conversation about like so-and-so's stinky balls. Like,
Yeah,
they
but
deserve it. They deserve it back.
God. They deserve so much. It's like, you're going to really say something about pussy hair when you're just regular body smells?
Yes.
You smell. You roll up to school smelling like shit
You
every
need
day.
to shower, honey. You need to get the soap out and soap up and rinse.
Exactly.
Don't be coming at me about what God made.
Right? Exactly. Like, you have half a mustache and you're going to say something to
Yeah,
me.
don't come at me about hair. Get yours in line.
Right? You look ridiculous just going in on a 12-year-old boy.
I mean, I wish I could go back in time.
Truly.
And storm in that cafeteria and be like, my pussy is my choice. You're lucky I even let you look at it.
And I didn't let you look at it, but if I did.
didn't. And if I did, you would be lucky.
So did you go to the dances with like friends or
So this is how it sort of worked in the upper like tier of popularity.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of like one girl got out a paper and put everyone's names and decided who everybody was going to go with.
Wow.
And I remember when I got to that level, I was relieved because finding a date to the dances always stressed me out because I had to go to them. I was throwing them. And I would win class favorite every year, which is a big deal. It's basically like the most popular award or whatever. So I had to go to the dance in order to get my award. So I was like, oh God, who am I going to get? Like my cousin's friend or like it was this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So by senior year, I was on the cool kid list and like this girl, Whitney, would literally make a chart. She'd be like, okay, you're going to go with Chase. You're going to go with Rodney. You're going to go with Chad. Like it was a whole thing. So I was so relieved when I got to that level.
I bet Whitney is like an amazing person to have in your bridal party now.
Oh, I bet,
like
yeah.
Like she's like,
the type A. She's got the spreadsheets going.
The emails are sent.
You haven't Venmo'd me yet. You have 5 days to Venmo me before there's a 15% finance tax. So if you wouldn't mind Venmoing me for your room in the Airbnb.
I also asked you guys to text me 5 things you like about Jackie.
And some of you have not sent them yet.
They do have to rhyme.
I've been working on the streamers and they're empty. And
okay, so let's take a look at this photo because you do look. Is this a dance?
Oh,
photo?
honey, yes. So the belly dresses were all the rage in the early 2000s.
I am scandalized that you were allowed to wear a belly dress because the midriff was quite forbidden at my high school at dances or not.
Yeah, well, in school hours, oh, no way. But dances, I guess they let you. And it's weird, the Southern culture, like my dad loved this. Like Southern dads, I don't know, they like their daughters to look hot. It's so weird. I have several friends whose dads bought them breast implants as teens.
Yeah.
It's a weird Southern, I don't exactly understand it. But
it feels a little tied to the like, this is my beautiful bounty.
It's weird and I hate it. But like my dad, he had no issues with it. And he also knew I was a good kid. Like I was a virgin in this photo. I just like to look cute. I wanted to be Britney. I wanted like a Britney. Like this is sort of Genie in a Bottle-esque. And that was what I was going for.
This feels very Genie in a Bottle, but also I'm a Slave for You.
Yes. And
VMA.
I was tan. I would tan in the tanning bed. That is my biggest. If I could roast my teen self, that was what I would say. I would say, honey, get the fuck out of that tanning bed. What are you thinking?
You were roasting your teen self.
I was roasting myself, truly, in every sense. I mean, look how tan I am.
You are very tan. And you do have a great ab.
Thank you, honey. We do our best. That dress was so tiny. I can't even tell you. Like, I'm holding my water bottle right now. I'm like, that dress would be too tight for this bottle. Mm-hmm. It was so small.
Do you remember where you got it?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. Whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit was the store?
I think it's still in Dallas. It's called Whatchamacallit, and it is the formal wear store. And the thing that sucks is that every girl goes there to get her dress. So you would show up and like 3 girls would have your dress on and you would be like, you need to fucking leave. You need to leave. We cannot be at the party at the same time. I will leave in half an hour. Then you can come. Like, but nobody had that dress this year.
I was about to ask, did anyone have this?
This was my junior year. I went to senior prom with a senior, and I got this dress for that. And that's a guy named Jay, and nothing happened between us. He was like a Bible thumper kid, and wanted nothing to do with that. But I did look hot, and I did get to go to the senior prom as a junior, which was exciting.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's a way more valuable memory than if you two had fingered or whatever.
I mean, honestly, I wish we had, looking back, but that wasn't on my agenda for the night, and it is what it is,
So, okay, because you are the Beauty Talk Shock Jock, what was Teen Jackie's beauty routine at the time? I mean, you mentioned that we're in the tanning beds.
Mm-hmm.
What are her products?
Oh, yeah. I can tell you everything.
How is she putting herself together?
Yeah, I can tell you everything. So, again, these magazines were really the Bible for me.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the ads were in these magazines, I would buy whatever it was. A lot of times it was like the CoverGirl Aqua Smooth, like just some crappy, gross talk. And I'm like right here, it's like CoverGirl mascara. I would go, yep, I'm getting that.
Stuff where we found out later, it's like, oh, actually there's so much of this in the ocean, it's killing whales.
Oh yeah, this will kill a whale in a minute flat, but we're rubbing it all over our bodies. And I would always get a shade, very orangey, because again, I was so tan, artificially tan. So I would do like a CoverGirl kind of liquid foundation and like a frosty eye look with a mascara. No eyeliner, no contouring, no like different colors of the palette, and like maybe kind of a gloss. And that's it, honey. The eyebrows were suffering. They had no help.
Yeah.
At that point, I had already destroyed them. I mean, if you look in that photo, I have like a tiny little parenthesis of an eyebrow. They were gone. I had killed them.
The kids are plucking their brows again.
Oh,
and
see,
that
I don't like that.
See, that I do. I for the most part, I don't think that millennials should be making weird videos talking to Gen Zers on TikTok, but I do think that we should step in here and tell
like
them
a PSA.
not to do that. Yeah, just be like, hey, I know you think we're annoying, but we just want to let you know that you could hurt yourself here.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. Again, it's self-loathing. I hated my eyebrows. They were beautiful. They were big and big arches. And I just was like, I don't want these. I want little Drew Barrymore eyebrows. I want to look like Christina Aguilera. And I just ruined. I literally killed them.
Yeah.
I literally killed them, and it's a big regret. #regret. That's a big one. Is letting my eyebrows be ruined.
That is. I mean, I wasn't as eyebrow concerned at the time because like I was like being punk, but I fucked my hair up really bad. Yeah. Bleaching it and putting Manic Panic in it, and then I would like dye it myself, and my whole ear would be purple for a week. And
I had a lot of DIY fails. I tried to. Do you remember those highlighter caps?
Yes.
You would basically put this cap on your head, and it came with this little hook, and then you'd stab it in, pull your hair out, so you sort of look like a potato. I don't know.
Chia thing.
And then I did that, and then I took the cap off, and I was like, it didn't get my roots, so I poured like peroxide shit on the roots, and then I had a yellow, like a banana yellow streak going down my scalp, and I had to go emergency to like the pharmacy to get a brown hair dye. Like, and I was like, fuck. I don't know why. There were no tutorials. Nobody was helping me here. You know?
Oh my God. The things that I would have not done to my hair if I had YouTube tutorials.
Right.
Instead of just kind of being like, I think that I've seen them do this on TV.
Oh, I know. There was no. It's crazy to think about doing something to your hair and having no instruction. It is wild, but that's what we did. We didn't have anybody. Even like the makeup tutorials in these magazines are nothing. It's like one photo. And it's like, swipe the green across your eyelid. And I'm like, okay, how can I fuck that up? I'd fuck it up.
Oh, yeah. I was also just like looking at other girls on MySpace and trying to like recreate what they were doing.
I didn't even have that.
Well, it opened up a whole other can of worms for me, honestly. Yeah. All right, I think we've got one more photo of you that we should talk through here. Okay, I feel like this is a great, going back to your Teen Jackie style.
Oh, yeah.
I am loving, so we've got like a low-rise jean short and a fringe belt, which I love.
I bought that in LA when I came to look at colleges. So I came back to school and I was like, aren't I fucking trendy? Although this was not taken at school. I could never wear shorts that short at school, and I could never wear my belly hanging out. And flip-flops.
Well,
all of those were forbidden.
I'm sure. So, being that you're like a tall person and just looking at you here, I feel like you probably could never wear shorts at school because ours was always fingertip length.
Same. Yeah.
And
so I would basically be wearing pants.
Yeah, I'm looking at what a fingertip length short would be on for you, and it's like a culotte.
It would be a culotte. And that's a mood now, but culottes were not fly in 03. They were not considered cool. But it's funny. I saw this photo and I looked at those shoes. And I remember a couple years ago there was a meme that said, if you wore these shoes in high school, it's time for a night serum. And it was these shoes. They're like Steve Madden, like wedge kind of sandals. And I remember being like, when I saw this photo, I was like, oh shit, that cut me deep. I need a serum. Luckily, I'm a big serum head. But
but the host of the most serums.
I'm the host of the most serums, but that cut me deep. I was like, yeah, this is the time period. It's time to wear. Ladies, get the serums out. If you're in your 30s, get those serums out.
Sometimes a meme will hurt you, and that's like the worst way to be hurt.
Yep.
I
agree.
Like, oh, God.
Because then you realize it's like the zeitgeist. Your pain is the zeitgeist.
Yes. And it's like you're not even original that you're hurt.
Yes.
It's just so I'm still fixated on this belt here. I do feel like the early 2000s we did a lot of experimentation in belts.
Yes.
And
there were a lot of like big hang off the waist belts. Kelly Clarkson, this was sort of in her era. She just won American Idol at the time. Like a really big belt that really served no purpose other than an artistic statement.
Yes. And I feel like this is a belt that I would see on Lindsay Lohan at
Thank you so much. Yes.
Like the VMAs.
TRL. Like a TRL appearance.
And she's wearing a jean skirt over bootcut jeans.
Yes.
So,
yes. That is something I will never understand. I will never understand why that happened, how that happened. But yes, that's exactly what I was going for here.
We were wearing skirts over bootcut jeans back in the day.
Yep, we sure were. And like a Kangol hat.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like
or a bucket
little
hat.
Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the shirt would be layered as well.
Yes, of course. Maybe a baby tee under the dress.
This was a style that I loved, and we were talking on a recent episode about like Billabong Quicksilver fashion.
Yep.
A shirt that was just one shirt, but it looked like
multiple.
You had a short sleeve shirt with a long sleeve shirt underneath.
Yes. Yeah, it was sort of like built-in layers. You didn't have to really worry, do too much effort. But we were all... That's the ice pack I have around my neck, by the way. That's why you're in your 30s. Like, oh, I pulled my neck. Oh, my Peloton. Oh.
I slept wrong.
Oh, no, I know. But yeah, the surf clothes. And I was nowhere near a beach. Let's just set things up. I was in Dallas, Texas. There was no beach anywhere near me. But we were like, oh my God, Abercrombie beach girls. Like, let's all wear beach outfits and like Billabong and Ocean Pacific again. And that was like our whole thing. We like pretended like we were like beach girls.
The vibe of the Hollister store at the mall, I don't think can ever be recreated.
It's still there.
It's still still chugging along like that little cabana.
The cabana is there. Why is it so dark? You can't even see the clothes. It's so dark in there.
Yeah,
and there's music
like how at the beach.
So loud. The music is so loud. Like you feel it pulsating through your veins.
Really, I remember it was a huge deal because I had just moved from Los Angeles to Northern Virginia when Hollister dropped. So I kind of had this idea, I remember at the time, like, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna hitch a ride on this and be like, well, I'm from LA. Hollister's from LA.
You're like, hi, nice to meet you.
I'm kind of like Hollister.
It me.
Did not work at all. This plan fell apart immediately. I did not own Hollister clothing.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, I did. I was all about that. I mean, I remember there was these shorts I wanted. They were so short you could see my colon. I mean, they were a thong. and they were cut off, and I was just like, they were like $98. I don't know. And I was just like, I saved up all summer. I'm like, I'm going to get those booty shorts. I'm going to look so good in those fucking shorts.
Ugh.
And they were from Hollister, and they were like the cool hot girl shorts.
I remember I tried to save up to buy the top of a bathing suit from Hollister. Just the top.
Yeah, because then you could rock bottoms with it, like a jean or, yeah.
Exactly. I was like, well, I got these bottoms from Target.
Yeah.
So I'll save.
That's smart. Yeah, invest in the piece that's going to get the most attention. That's smart. I like that.
That is what
thinking.
I did. That is, Tina Alise was industrious. All right, Jackie, we're coming up on the end here. So these are the last two questions I like to ask. Do you remember any big scandals, drama, rumors from your high school?
Oh, yeah, of course. I know her name to this day. I'm not going to say it. So again, this was Bible Belt culture. Women were shamed for being sexual. Boys were praised. You know, same old stuff. There was a girl who was a cheerleader, and she let her boyfriend put it in her butt. This is a very common thing in Southern cultures. It's sort of like the loophole. Like, Jesus won't mind if you go in the back, but he will mind if you go in the front. So I guess she and her boyfriend were like, okay, let's try this. And she was like, it wasn't going in. It wasn't going in. So they said, well, we need to like lube it up somehow. What do we use? He got his Doc Martin boot oil.
No.
Which we all had Doc Martens, you know? So this is of the times. So I guess it happened, and she made the fatal mistake of telling a couple people, or he maybe told everybody. And that poor girl to this day is known as Doc Martin to this day. And people would be like, oh, there's a mark on my foot. Go get so-and-so's ass. You know, it was horrible. It's horrible. And I feel bad for her because, you know, obviously we want to be empowered in our sexuality. We want to be empowered in our choices. And it's just because there was no knowledge or information, they thought that would be okay. And it was, you know, that's not a good choice, everybody. If you want to do butt stuff, please do not use Doc Martin oil. Get coconut oil, you know, buy a lube. There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah. See, this is, again, why we actually do need sex ed in schools.
Yes.
So that we know not to put the boot
Doc
oil.
Martin oil on your
in the
butt.
boot.
Yeah. Boot oil in the boot, honey. And it is funny in theory, but I still think about that poor girl and like how hard that must have been for her to live down.
Yeah, that's a really tough one. The example I always give on the pod is also but related.
Yeah.
I remember a girl whose name I also fully remember. I remember where I was sitting on the bus when I found out that at a party that weekend she had put a remote control in her butt.
There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like bottles, like, and I don't understand. Like, I guess, well, actually, I feel like I do understand. I think I was like curious. And you remember like you're brushing your teeth and you kind of go, interesting.
And some people they take it the next step further.
They perform.
And then we're getting drunk for the first time and things are happening. And somebody puts a remote control in their butt or somebody uses Doc Martin boot oil.
Right. Things happen in your youth, you know? These are you're supposed to experiment. It's healthy. It's normal. I just am sad that her story became fodder for everybody else. And me as a 36-year-old woman remembering it like it happened yesterday.
That's the thing is like, you want to be able to say like you live that down, but it's like here you are and you do fully remember everything.
But I also like I want to like apologize to her.
Well, yeah.
That's even though she wasn't in my grade. So I never participated in the act of like, you know, going to her and shaming her or anything. But, you know, I think back on like sort of similar situations and friends and I'm like, oh, I just feel so bad. And I just hate that was part of our culture. And
yeah, I don't think young women were taught how to be good friends to each other.
Yes.
And we were actually actively taught how to be like terrible friends to each other. And I know that affected me for sure. Yes.
I'm telling you, if I could redo high school curriculum, there would be a class on what is a narcissist? How do you spot one? How do you remove them from your life? And it is perfectly okay that you do that.
Yes.
Number 2, how do credit cards work? Let's talk about credit scores. Let's talk about how to save up, how to keep money, how to, these are the, like, that would be what I would teach. Instead of,
on
like,
Monday, we're
the
gonna
Scarlet
clean a
Letter.
bathroom.
Yes, exactly. Like, how do you keep a kitchen cute? How do you cook for yourself?
That would have been very, very helpful. And I think would have been great for a lot of the people who were my first roommates if I had taken some of these lessons.
Yeah, same.
Jackie, it has been so amazing having you on the podcast. We have one final question that I ask all of my guests, which is, if you could talk to teen Jackie today, what would you tell her?
Okay, here's what I would tell her. I would say, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and enjoy this time in your life, because you take it for granted. You don't have to pay bills. You don't have to deal with, jobs and shit. Enjoy your life. Why don't you go get fingered a little bit, Maybe get your butt tickled. I don't know. Yeah. Just experiment. Feel confident in that. Feel empowered in your choices sexually. Get the fuck out of the tanning bed. Get the fuck out of the tanning bed. I understand that you want to look tan in your belly dress. I understand, but just take it from me. Get the fuck out of the tanning bed. And put the tweezers down, honey. These are things that I wish somebody, take it from me and wear sunscreen every day. And I know nobody else does it. And I know it doesn't say to do that in your teen magazines, but just put sunscreen on every day. Get out of the tanning bed. Don't plug your eyebrows in. Like, maybe go get some put in your butt. But
don't use
Doc Martin oil. Whatever you do.
Oh, that is perfect. I think that's a message, a timeless message for teenagers
truly.
Of all ages.
And honestly, everybody.
Actually, you know what? This is a timeless message for people of any age, of any creed, of any
social economic group, any region of the world.
100%. Well, Jackie, it was amazing to have you on the pod. And for everyone listening at home, this has been the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast.